Hello, fans. Millions of fans out there. How are you? Um, so, the theme of this is going to be I'm going to lazily go through and review movies, sort of review them, just kind of tell you my take on them and whether or not to see them. It's your call. So, the first movie I'm going to do, I just saw a movie called The Hustle. This is, I don't know if you're aware of it, it's with Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson. And I did not think this movie looked very good. I knew it was a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Well, I don't want to say reboot because it's basically just a shameless remake completely of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. The trailer I thought looked pretty terrible, and I went to see the movie, and it was, in fact, very terrible. I do not like Anne Hathaway. I think she's a good actress, but she's super annoying and really weird and kind of just seems really crazy, which probably is why she's a good actress. But oddly, she's one of the better parts of this movie, The Hustle. Rebel Wilson is really not funny in it. I feel like they're just making a lot of gags about her being fat. It's just a lot of her being overweight and like falling, and just a lot of gags about her weight, which I thought was pretty lazy. Also, so the main thing I didn't like about it is, they didn't really, all they basically did was change the sexes, and they literally redo scenes, like, straight out of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels without changing anything, except the only change they have is that they're just not funny this time. So it's such an odd idea, like, that there was like an executive meeting at a studio, and they were like, I have a really good idea. Like, I remember that movie that was really great and really funny. Why don't we do that and like make it shitty this time? Like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And why don't we get Anne Hathaway? Because she's not funny ever, right? So let's get her. She's known for because she's good at crying. So basically, Rebel Wilson is the Steve Martin character, and I feel like that's one of the greatest comedic performances of all time in a movie, Steve Martin in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. The whole movie is overall great, but the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, not this. And Rebel Wilson just it was a lot to live up to, but she's just not, it's not good. And there's a lot of intentional kind of nods to the original. They even have the doctor from the first one is named Dr. Schaffhausen, the fake name, and in this one it's the same name. They're kind of aware of that they kind of weren't doing anything original or new. Then there's some new guy who, the other thing that sucks is most people know this movie, and they're just kind of redoing it, and it's a movie that benefits from a big twist at the end, that makes it enjoyable when you're watching Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. You don't know the big twist, but when you remake a movie where there's a big twist at the end of the movie, and that's a big part of the enjoyment, it kind of ruins the movie, because if anyone has seen this movie, which most people probably have, it's not that old. I think it's about 30 years old. You just know exactly where the movie's going. They didn't change anything. So anyway, they have this new guy playing the person that they're trying to swindle. In the original was Glenn Headley, I believe, and then in this one, it's a guy, and he's really young, and then he falls for Rebel Wilson, and that's not believable, because there's nothing in it that would make you think he would fall for it. So I guess I understand they're doing this a lot now, where they're redoing old movies, but with they're switching the gender, where they're making it, instead of men, they're making it women, and I guess it makes sense to do that here. I just feel like they did it badly. I didn't like the female Ghosters reboot, and that was more of a reboot because that was an original story, that it wasn't just a remake of Ghostbusters. But I didn't like that Ghostbusters, but at least like they did something different. This one literally is like it's almost like shot the exact same way. Like they have certain scenes that are exactly taken from the original, and almost every plot point is taken from the original. There's even like a scene from the original Dirty Rotten Scoundrels where uh, some people get mad at Steve Martin's character and they glue his hand to the wall, and in this they glue Rebel Wilson's hand to the wall. It's like the exact same thing. Just seemed really lazy. Like, who couldn't do that? Like, what kind of? It seems like the easiest thing to just be like. I mean, imagine like getting that writing assignment. They're like, "Hey, can you just like read Dirty Rotten Scoundrels or just watch Dirty Rotten Scoundrels and just like kind of like write it, but like change the sexes of the characters and then maybe make the lines less funny, you know?" So, I guess in the end, it basically, I mean, you know, I went into this not expecting much. I saw Rotten Tomatoes; they had given it like a 16%, and so I had a bad feeling going in, and it was pretty terrible. And it did really well, which is funny, I guess, because there's just so many bad movies out there. I'm going to talk about the Avengers in my next video. So please subscribe to this, and please keep watching. I have the AMC Movie Pass, so I'm going to be seeing a movie probably at least every week. I'll probably be seeing a movie every couple of days. Out in the theater, because I like to see movies in the theater. I know that it's weird. There's no good movies in theaters anymore, but I like the act of actually going out to theaters to see movies. So I have a lot to say about Avengers. I know that's kind of late, but I have a lot of funny shit. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Namaste.